Hello and welcome to another one of my casts. I am your host, Fish, your best friend, that guy that's above you that are just super crazy loud, that just kind of like throws bowling balls down the road or something, down on the floor, and just never sleeps. Plays the music all day loud. That's me. I'm your really annoying neighbor. Anywho, today we have a nice little TVP today. Haven't done one of those yet. See, talked about, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Looks like one of them went random. I think this is a gold player's match. So as I said in one of my previous casts, gold is actually one of my favorite. Well, the lower leagues, bronze, silver, and gold. I mean, gold has some talent. Like, they know what they're doing, but they don't have like build orders quite down yet, and things can go pretty crazy really fast. So gold is like a talented bronze. So it's fun to watch. Alright, and today we have a TVP on this map here. Let's get this going. Red player is from team DTF253. We got Slavaslave. Like the name, I think that's a Slavaslave. I don't know what the team is, but good on you, bro. And to the top left, we have the Protoss player, Belor, which is actually random. I play random as well, because I get bored just playing one race. So, just gotta try them all out, see what you can do there. It's just for fun. So we got Belor in the top left corner, and it looks like we're just going to have a normal little wall off for the Protoss here, along with, well, Terran's not doing any wall off at all. As a TVP, you don't necessarily have to wall off. There's nothing that's really going to help you by walling off. The most you can do is probably prevent some scouting or a quick rush. But even if it was a quick rush, it'd be coming out right about now. So, I mean, they do enough damage as it is because you don't have to use that on the field. So, there's no cannon rush today. Just put down the cybernetics core. Has only one gas for the Protoss player. So, it looks like he's not going anything tech heavy at the moment. He's got the second one, so it doesn't look like it's too far behind. So, he might be looking for a warp gate and just like a normal kind of game, nothing special. Not even a single Zelda on the field, which he really needs to, since a Reaper is on the way, almost out right about now. Probe scouts it. He should have seen the Reaper coming out. He knows that there's no wall off. Well, he doesn't know. He knows now the probe is going to be gone. Oh. It's on fire. That's kind of cool. Alright, so he's going to be looking for where the Protoss is. Oops, there we go. Knows he's not in the top right corner because the SCV is scouting from above, so he's going to see that there's nobody in the bottom left either, so he's going to be in the top left. That Reaper can do some damage. He's taking his sweet time, though, getting there. So he has a Stalker out in time, so he's not going to do really any damage because that Stalker has enough range and enough speed to take care of that. Reaper's gonna pop in from behind, so he could pop in, see what he has, maybe do a little bit of damage, but not enough to actually take anything out. There he goes. Start shooting the pylon as like a warning shot, like, bro, I got you. I'm right here. He really needs to run away. Alright, he gets away just in time before he loses that one Reaper. He has two Reapers on the field, but a Mothership Core and a Stalker is what he has to repel this. He starts his natural on the field, completely scouted by the Reapers. Just seeing if he can be annoying as hell. Maybe takes out a probe. Nice little pick-off, and somehow keeps his other Reapers alive. So that's a nice little pick-off. Has 4 health, just made it out of there. And Slave has just about finished his natural base here. Let's see, not a whole lot else going on. Getting some upgrades, a couple of Marauders. He saw the Stalker, so a Marauder is a nice little build right there. It looks like Robotics Facility has just completed for a Protoss player. Warp Gate not quite complete, about 20 more seconds on it. Not sure what he has planned. Not sure what either player has planned. He's got 2 Stalkers out in the Mothership Core with a lot of energy on it. Doesn't look like he's going to get out of his base. He's going to scout with his observer. Nice little idea here. And he's going to see that there's going to be a bunker in the front here. Nothing much else. Just a Marauder and 2 Reapers. SUV and the Reaper. There it is. So he's going to have a nice vision here. So he's going to see what's coming unless he goes around either direction. He's going to be spotted. So Slavaslave's in a pretty nice position. Both players are just focusing on their economy, and it looks like Slavaslave is going to go upgrade heavy. He's got 2 engineering bays just built. See if he remembers that he has them. Yes, he does. He started his 1-1 stim. Is just about complete. 3 Marines coming out of time, working on his economy, while the Protoss side is finished his warp gate. Getting his +1, he has only 1 forge, has a photo cannon just to ward off any kind of drop or banshee play, but not sure if Slave is going to do that. Not sure if he's going to go anymore. He's got only 2 gateways, not a lot of production. He's getting a robotics bay, which is going to be a nice little once he gets out those Colossus, that's going to do a lot of damage to his Bioforce here. Colossus versus Bio. Colossus wins every single time. Easy. And let's see, takes out the Observer. Nice little pick off. He saw the little wavy cloaked unit there. Nice on Slave for finding him and taking him out. But has he scouted everything he really needed to know? He knows there's a bunker here and doesn't know that he's pretty much completed his wall off. He does know he has a base right here. Basically, he knows all of his production, so he's not really hiding anything anymore. All he has is really a bunker and some Bioforce right here. Looks like he's going full biotech. He's got 4 barracks, 2 reactors, and 2 tech labs, so he's going to go a nice balanced Bioforce, but he really needs to get those medeffects out in order to actually be a lot more effective. And he's got 2 in production, 1's just about to complete, so he did hear me in the past, so good for you, bro. Just keeping a little bit of Bioforce out here, just to see if he can make sure that no one's really coming. Warp Prism is out on the field. This could be nice, especially this area over here. He has nothing to scout from. He gets him right in the corner here. Did he? Yes, he did see the Warp Prism. Alright, so he saw the Warp Prism in his little vision right here. And making a few turrets right here. He really needs to complete that as soon as possible, because this Warp Prism could warp in a lot of units just in time, especially if he's like right in the middle of his base, get a few Stalkers, or right here a few Zealots can do a lot of damage to his economy. But it looks like the turret is done, and the Warp Prism is going to be denied unless he bomb rushes in. Not sure what his plan is. I think he sees it.
Additional supply depots.
No, he doesn't see the turret, but the turret does see the Warp Prism. Oh, he backs off a little bit, seeing if he can go around somewhere else. There's a little space right here he could go to. But it looks like he's not going to press the issue any further. The red Terran player over here, Slave is going to push in with what he has. Observer's going to see absolutely everything. He sees the medevac and Reaper right here, and sees the entire Bioforce. So he knows this is coming. And does he have anything to prevent this? He has a Colossus, a bunch of Stalkers, and a bunch of Zealots. 6 Zealots right there. And he can also do his the Nexus Cannon right here. So he's pretty well defended against this. He's going to do a small little drop here. Let's see, he fills up the second one as well. Cannon right here can do a little bit of damage to the medevac, but he dodges that and just drops in a nice little spot here. The Colossus is over here. He can do a lot of damage with this extended thermal lance here. 2 Colossus right here. Takes out his entire Bioforce by itself. A little damage is taken to the Colossus. Medevac goes down. And holds this pretty well. Red sees the 2 Colossus, figures out that he can't do anything, makes 2 Vikings in retaliation, and queues up 10 Vikings. Oh boy. Not always the best idea to queue up these units. I have the same problem. And Blink is on the way. Nice little upgrade. And doesn't see the Warp Prism, so the Marines are just going to scout around. And this little tiny force right here is just annihilated by 2 beams of light right there. Just lasered in half, man. Ever seen that movie, Resident Evil? Like the original one? Back in, I think, like 2000? 2001? Oh my god, I love that movie. No matter how bad the movie is, that movie is still great. It's like they're stuck in this little hallway right here. And there's little lasers, and they have to, like, dodge them. They have to jump up and everything. And then this laser suddenly turns into, like, 50 million lasers and just chops this guy into, like, little tiny pieces. It's fucking awesome. Yep. Good times. Good times. And it looks like in the bottom here we have Zealot's Warpin right here that didn't really do much. There's too much of a Bioforce to actually do a lot of damage. Perhaps taking out maybe 1 Marine out of that whole thing. Loses, not a very good trade, loses a lot of minerals out of that. Warp Prism is still there, is going to be taken out by these 4 Vikings that are out. And gone. So those 4 Vikings, more Vikings in production constantly. This Colossus needs to be careful, because they can be taken out pretty quickly if there is enough Vikings. So what he really needs to do is either make some anti-air, some kind of Void Rays. Void Rays are always good against Vikings or any other kind of mech, so they'd be really good against these armored units, like the Marauder. Not very good against the Zealot. I mean the Marines. They actually suck against Marines, but they're awesome against everything else. Alright, let's see. It looks like they're just doing some random upgrades here. Looks like Storm is on the way, which could be a really good idea here. Especially if the Vikings are clumped up or all the Terran. If they don't split or if they're not careful, Storms can destroy an entire army in seconds. Absolute seconds. Or at least weaken it enough where your army can just crush it in like a volley or 2. +2 ground weapons attack is on the way for our Protoss player. Well, Slavaslave is stuck on 1-1 at the moment. Doesn't look like he is going to upgrade any further. He really oh, there he goes. 2-2 is on the way. He really needs to get these upgrades, because if he's stuck on a lower upgrade compared to these guys, when he's already got +3 armor right here, well, +2. It's going to be hard to kill these units. Storm has completed, but he's... Do they all have... I think he's got 3, 4, 5 storms. He's got 5 storms right here. He could... Ooh, Vikings really got to be careful here. If he loses these Vikings, loses them for nothing, this battle could be heavily in the Protoss' favor. Let's see, he's going to try and do a little bit of damage to a Colossus. Brings it down to half health. And doesn't lose a Viking, so that's a nice little pickoff right here. And Storm goes down, does a lot of damage to the Marines here. There are 2 clumped up. Colossus does a lot of damage to half the forces right here. Vikings are doing damage to Colossus, but is it too late? He moves a little bit into the forces right here. And Stalkers are still here, taking out the Vikings. Saves 2 Colossus. They're not quite down yet. But can the Colossus get away in time? Vikings... he's got 1 Viking left. Does he? Oh, he does. With his final 2 missiles, his sacrifice, he gets the final Colossus. And the body disappears into the ground, into Mother Earth. Becomes lava. And it looks like he sees his opportunity. The entire army of Terran is just about gone. All he has is this little contingent 3 Vikings and maybe 12 Marines and 5 Marauders here. This one it's not a lot of units as I originally thought that Protoss had. He's got... Well, Terran has 10 Marines coming out of time. 2-2 is almost complete. Protoss is working on his third armor right here. That'd be really great against what Terran has right now. His little window of opportunity of having an upgrade advantage is just about gone now. He's gonna search around. I'm not sure what he's doing. Alright, well, I guess he's just trying to get enough units here. He's got another 2 Colossus here, and a few more High Templar to do a few more storms. He didn't get a lot. He had 1 good storm, but couldn't get enough of them off. Could have done a lot more damage with those storms. And always a good thing to do, and I don't see a lot of players do this in the lower leagues. If your High Templars run out of energy, and you're in a firefight like we were at, morph him into Archons. They're awesome. Alright, looks like these 2 Colossus here can do a lot of damage here. Not a lot of Vikings as it was before, only 3. These Colossus and Storm is just going to rip through this Terran army like butter. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's a complete massacre. Oh, not enough damage output from the Marines. They're just completely taken care of because of all this Colossus damage. They do so much damage. That's like 40 damage per laser right there. And, oh, sucking his own choke right there. That's not going to do any damage. He does warp his units into Archons, which does a lot of tanking damage right there, especially if they're fully upgraded for their defense. Get his plus 3 ground weapons going. Terran is some deep shit right now. His 3rd base is about to be destroyed. And all of his Vikings are going down. He's got 1 Colossus left. The Vikings did a lot of damage to all his Colossus though, but loses all of his medevacs for nothing. A big loss for the Terran player. Slavaslave is in some deep shit. Throws his SCVs at the Protoss player and not doing a lot of damage, but does take out 1 Stalker, but it's not good. But the game isn't up yet. He still has a large bank. He's got 4,000 minerals. He needs to defend. He needs to make units and not throw them away like he's been using. He needs to rally his units, not towards the enemy right now. He needs to put them more towards his wall so he can save what he has, lift his barracks, and save his orbital command. But it doesn't look like he's going to do that. He's going to triple some more units in. Storm goes out, destroys a few units. Nice little pickoff right there. Finally takes out what was left over here. It looks like the macro slipped a little bit from our Protoss player. Didn't really make anything else to just queuing up Colossus right here. He really needed to warp in some more units. He had Terran by the ropes right here. Could have destroyed his 3rd base completely, but instead slipped on his macro, and now he's letting the Terran come back from this, which could be very, very bad. He's made 2 more bases right there, so he could expand 2 more times. Right here would be the safest spot to go. See, he does have an observer right here, a few Colossus there. He's still making Templars, which is always good, but he needs more muscle in his army. He needs more Zealots, he needs more Stalkers. He needs more gateway units to actually do the bulk of the work. If you have nothing defending your High Templars or your Colossus, they're going to go down really fast. Colossus do a lot of damage, but they go down really fast if you're not protecting them. 3 Vikings right here, a lot of Bioforce here as well, nice little split, and it looks like both Colossus do go down. It does form into an Archon, but that's not going to do a lot of work. Since he's basically down to half health now, he's got about 10 health and doesn't do a single attack right there. So Terran easily repulses that little army right there. I wouldn't say rolled, he just destroyed it. So Vikings were a great call by the Terran player, knowing that's a direct counter for the Colossus right here. And if he's not careful, the Protoss player Belor is going to lose that Colossus. He needs more gateway units. He's got nice upgrades, but too many High Templars for what he has. He's got a nice bank. He can make a shit ton of Zealots. A lot of Zealots plus your Colossus can do a hell of a lot of damage. It looks like he's going to go out and attack, but if he's not careful, he's going to lose those as well. Colossus is doing some damage here, but also taking a lot of damage from these Vikings. Is it going to go down? It's going to go down just in time. It does. The Stalkers neglect the Vikings here, so he's going to allow so much damage to be taken to him. The Marauders are doing a lot of damage to these Stalkers, a direct counter to them. While he does go down with these drops right here, a nice little choke area right here. The Colossus is going to do some damage. He does pick up his units, but the Stalkers blink in, does take out one of the medevacs full of Marauders. Now there's only 3 Marauders left with that medevac, and gets out just in time for that. A lot of units are coming back from the Terran player. He's going to do a lot of damage. That Colossus is definitely going to go down, along with 4 Stalkers, easily. Belor needs to find a counter to these Marauders. The Marauders are taking so much damage while dealing it out with these 2-2 upgrades here. The gold base is in trouble. He's only got 1 guy mining from it, but I don't know, what does he have? He has 10 Zealots and 2 Colossus strength compared to the 23 Marauders and 35 Marines that Slavaslave has. I'm not sure if anything that Protoss can do right now. He needs to warp in a bunch of units, but unfortunately his production, he's only got 4 warp gates. That's it. After the 6,000 minerals he had only... Oh, never mind. 4, 6... 12 warp gates. Sorry. I didn't look over here. So he has 12 warp gates. That's even worse. Not only does he have the ability to produce units, he's not producing units. And I don't know why... Oh, he's rebuilding the base. So he does take out the gold base. And unfortunately for the Terran player, that doesn't do a lot of economic damage since he really wasn't mining it from it in the first place. And it looks like Belor has decided has remanded his upgrades. He's going for 3-3, which is a really good idea. 3-3 Marauders against a Stalker-heavy army is just going to lose. Sorry, Belor, but you're in some deep shit right now. You don't have enough army here compared to what Slavaslave has. This is a scary looking force right here. You have a lot of medevacs to this bio army, which is consisting of nearly a 50-50 split between Marines and Marauders. So not only do you get the tanking damage from those Marauders, you get the DPS from the Marines. This is going to be a very scary army. I'm not sure if he really has... He's got 2 Colossus, Stalkers, and Zealots, and perhaps 3 Storms if he gets him off perfectly, but... we'll see what happens here. He's going towards the 4th base. Unfortunately, no real economy is being done, but he's going to take out the base and some wasted minerals. And does take out the 4th. The Protoss army is here. And it looks like the Zealots are going to be completely annihilated quickly. Storms do go down on this top part of the army, does a lot of damage. But the bottom part of the army is still here and takes out everything else. The Vikings take out both of the Colossus that was there. He's warping in a bunch of Zealots to see if he can take care of his ground army, but it's not going to be enough. And it's going to be GG from Belor, and it is done. Slavaslave has came back from what looked like a pretty scary army at first, with those nice storms, and I think he had 3 Colossus up here, was about to take down this base, but his macro slipped. He totally forgot his macro, which is something you can't do when you're pushing, when you have the upper hand. You can't let him come back. But unfortunately, he did, and the Terran came back from that, creating a few more bases in the process, especially 2 planetary fortresses. There's no way he's going to get through that. So that was a pretty good comeback from our Terran player here. So good job, Slave. Fun game to watch. And looking forward to some more casts, just in case you ever put them on our casted. So y'all have a good night, brah.